Action.
Hi, my name is Thomas Velvin.
My name's Noah Creighton.
I'm Luke Estes.
I'm TJ Gregg.
And I'm Andy Hamilton.
Today we will be talking about tornadoes. Slide. So to start off, we'll start off by saying, what are tornadoes and how do they form? So from NOAA National Severe Storms Laboratory, the definition of a tornado is a narrow, violently rotating column of air that extends from a thunderstorm to the ground. Tornadoes occur all over the world, but in the US, they occur most often in a place called Tornado Alley. And you can see that in the bottom picture over there. It includes Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado, and a few other states as well. How do they form? When a tornado storm occurs, warmer air rises into the clouds while colder air falls to the ground. This major difference in air temperature can cause spinning air currents, which would eventually lead to a vertical twister called a tornado. The most destructive types of tornadoes seem to form from supercells, which are rotating thunderstorms, which with well-defined radar circulation are called mesocyclone.
So the National Weather Service has two alerts for tornadoes. The first one's a tornado watch. This is issued when severe thunderstorms and tornadoes are possible, but they're not guaranteed. Severe thunderstorms are defined as winds that have 58 miles per hour gradient force or higher, and hail with a 1-inch diameter or bigger. And again, the big thing about tornado watch is it does not mean that there will be a tornado for sure. It's just one is possible. A tornado warning is when a funnel cloud has touched down in your county or your surrounding county within 30 miles. That is a tornado, and the tornado warning does mean there is a tornado on the ground in a relatively close location to yourself. And if that happens, seek shelter immediately for safety. There's a very big tornado in Lubbock in 1970 on May 11th. It was an F5 category tornado, and it was 35 minutes long in the nighttime. There were 31 fatalities and 500 people were injured. And if you look to your right, here's the path of the tornado. It just missed the campus back in the 70s. It did a loop around, damaged the football stadium, and then it went to the east side of Lubbock near the airport. And there was also a second tornado on the east side of Lubbock that did damage as well. And the eastern side of Lubbock still has not fully recovered from the tornado. The east side of Lubbock is known as some more, it's not as nice of an area because once that part of the city got wiped out in 1970, there's not a lot of recovery in that area for the funds that people needed to improve their homes in the area. So that's why the area still has not fully recovered. In 2020 money, there was $1.67 billion in damages. And it is the most recent tornado in American history to go directly through a CBD, which stands for Central Business District, in a major city, which Lubbock would tend to qualify for because it has over 100,000 people. And here are two pictures one's of the tornado damage in 1970, and one is of the memorial that is being built in downtown Lubbock to honor the victims of the tornado.
So my part was impact of tornadoes. And within the United States, each year, there's 80 people that are killed and then over 1,500 people that are injured each year from tornadoes. And within those tornadoes, the cost destruction of it is over $4 million each year within tornado damage. And the deadliest tornado in the United States history was in Missouri. It was called a tri-state tornado because it hit in Missouri, Indiana, and Illinois. And it was over 300 miles long and had winds up to 260 miles per hour. And it ended up killing 695 people. And back then it cost $17 million, which would be an insane amount if we converted that. And then each tornado can take up to 5 years, or even some cities like Lubbock haven't even fully recovered from tornadoes. So tornadoes can definitely hurt a community and a city because of the destruction.
So as someone who has lived in Tornado Alley my whole life, I have a little experience with tornadoes. The most memorable experience with tornadoes was back in 2007 when a Category 4 tornado ran through my hometown of Columbus, New Mexico. It was the biggest in our city's history, and it resulted in over a dozen injuries, as well as the property damage of well over 100 homes. I was 6 at the time, but I still remember we had Grandpa's birthday dinner because of the tornado. We walked out of the restaurant, and I could hear the storm sirens immediately. I recall that it was much colder than it was when we had walked in the restaurant, and the wind started picking up really fast. It was shaking telephone poles, trees, and we frantically drove home along with everyone else that was at the restaurant. Once we got home, my mom and I grabbed a bunch of food and blankets, and we went and sat in the bathtub with our heads down. For the next hour, you could hear it sweeping through the neighborhood. In the morning, I looked out the window, and the other side of the neighborhood, it got messed up pretty bad. Our side was completely fine, other than like a couple shingles missing. The other side was just completely torn up. Our house was missing some shingles. Other than that, it missed us. From what I remember, it was extremely scary.
So I'm gonna talk about how to like keep safe from tornadoes. So like first off, you should find a room in the basement or a room with no windows on the lowest floor of your house. Rooms such as bathrooms, closets, or the center of hallways are the most ideal places to seek shelter when a tornado is nearby. Another safety tip would be to hide under something heavy and sturdy, such as a heavy table or workbench. If you are in a car, stay in the car with your seatbelt on, put your head down below the windows, and make sure to cover your head with your hands or something else like a blanket, or find a place lower than the level of the roadway, such as a ditch, and leave the car to go lay down in it. If you have a storm shelter, which most houses have in areas that experience tornadoes regularly, you should probably seek shelter in there since they are designed to withstand severe weather conditions such as tornadoes. Never go outside and check to see if you can see the tornado because it is very, very risky and unsafe. Ultimately, if there's a tornado warning, you should always seek shelter until you are notified that the tornado has passed or never even happened.
And there's our works cited. Thank you very much.